Have you ever done an interview in the shower before?
Never. I mean, well, there was at one time that one job interview, and I got a small part in a Harvey Weinstein movie.
This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show. Episode number 276. Hanging out here at Ronin Pro Wrestling. Is it Ronin Wrestling or Ronin Pro Wrestling?
I think it's Ronin Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
It might be Ronin Wrestling. I've been here far too long. I don't even know.
My guest this week, Jude Mackenzie. How are you doing, man?
I am sore.
Yeah.
I'm beat up. I'm sore. I just wrestled a match, a four-way with Beasley, Wolf Taylor, and Treehouse Lee.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like you're going to walk out of that feeling perfect.
I'm a little sore.
Yeah.
They want to do a bunch of cool, crazy stuff, and I'm too fat and out of shape to keep up with them. So
I understand that. I'm getting close to that 40 range, so I'm like, you know what? You know what's cool is you guys do that.
Yep. I showed up today. I saw them. They were talking to each other, and I saw the look in their eye, and I knew like each one of these guys wants to do some crazy stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let them have that moment, and I'm just gonna sit back here and I'll just pick my spots to come in and try to.
That's why I love this weekend coming up we have FSCW at GalaxyCon in Minneapolis for the first time. And that's why I'm super excited that I get to be Peter B. Parker.
Oh, it's the best.
He's literally I'm the perfect age for Peter B. I look like him.
I mean, you're in better shape than he is.
This is true. But it's like a dream role that I wish I could carry out into the real world.
I think whoever directed and wrote that movie saw a bunch of Milo Beasley matches and Bums of Us matches, and they said, you know what, that guy's onto something, and they stole it.
So I think this is my fourth character now. You've done a ton for FSCW.
Oh God, so many. When I first came in, I originally started as a Ghostbuster.
Okay.
I teamed with, my friend Alex Decay, who used to go with Pretty Fly. We used to be known as the Virus years ago.
I tried him.
And I know, yeah, that's true, yeah. And then, let's see, so I started as a Ghostbuster with him, and shortly thereafter, I pitched to them an idea of being Alex DeLarge from Clockwork Orange, and it went really weird because the crowd didn't quite remember who Alex DeLarge was. But it's like I created this own adaptation of who he was, and it became relevant because a year or two later, I saw people coming to the cons dressed in Clockwork Orange gear, sitting front row, and it was pretty cool to see that. And did some pretty crazy stuff that would not work in today's climate, but some pretty crazy stuff there. And then shortly thereafter, I took a break, came back as Negan on a last ditch effort whim right before I moved. I was planning on moving back to Ohio, and the guys running FSCW came to me and said, you know what, just come have one last hurrah with us. And so I decided, might as well. I got a chance to be Negan and did some really cool things as Negan. One of my favorite things that we did was Mick Foley came out and faced off with me, and Lucille versus Barbie, and then gave me the mandible claw and wrote me off, and now here I am as Loki.
As Loki, right. And the Loki matches have been pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get to do some creative stuff, not to peel back the curtain too much, but we get to do a lot of fun things with guys underneath the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of cool little switches.
I don't know what you're talking about underneath the ring. Loki is a shapeshifter. And it originally started with Kimberly, who does a great job playing Mystique for us, the current FSCW Women's Champion. She was doing, obviously, Mystique in the X-Men universe, is also a shapeshifter. And for the longest time, I was having these matches getting blown up and doing all these crazy spots. And I saw her out there maybe doing one or two moves the entire match, and the crowd's going nuts for her.
I don't want to. So that was me. I was like, hey, I wonder if we can get somebody to crawl underneath the ramp. And the next thing I know, I was being sent out as like your idea, you test it.
Yeah.
So then I had, and it's not easy.
Oh my god.
But,
yeah, it's so. The funny thing is I saw her doing this, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time for Loki to start doing this. And funny enough, we wrestled each other the last night at Florida SuperCon,
Which was, in my opinion, the greatest match in FSCW history.
I can honestly say I am so happy to say that I was a part of a 5-star match that I maybe did 1 or 2 moves. But the rest of it, but it's all me. I take the credit. You know, me and her, we went toe to toe hard. You know, and despite what it looked like with all these other characters, that was me and her. We were actually shape-shifting. There's nobody underneath the ring. I didn't slide out and go underneath the ring, and there was 30 people having like a mole person underground battle royal.
I wish like.
I wish there was a camera underneath.
I wish that there was a camera, like, okay, like I was sitting there because the veteran, right? So I have the piece of paper that has the list of order, and I have like a phone, and I'm trying to light up. And then so like, guess what? Well, I gotta go out. So then I have to like hand off the piece of paper to somebody else, and then get eliminated, and then come back, and then it was
the best part about that is. After we did all these things and people are going in and out, they would roll back underneath the ring. And instead of just be like, well, my spot's done, I'm going to head to the back. There are people sitting there just taking up space and making it even more confusing. Like, wait a minute, did you already go out? Did you? And the funny thing is like, I was an idiot in thinking it would be hilarious if not only would we do the first ever shapeshift versus shapeshift, but I actually shapeshift back into Negan. So while there's the one time that there's no room and there's 30 people underneath the ring is the time that I decide to chase my clothes underneath the ring.
So 2 things that really make like that really help me besides you and Kim, but the crowd just totally buying into it, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
they get it, but like they're going along with it.
Oh yeah.
And Petersdorf at the helm.
Oh yeah.
And Guy, I think, was what in telling the story of it's still Mystique versus Loki, and keeping tabs on who Mystique is and who Loki is, even though it could be Spider-Man and Kraven and
Skeletor and the funny thing is, like I said, I rolled out. Luigi came in, so I only had that one buffer of one person to change out of my Loki guard.
Who wrote that? That was dumb.
That was me. That's experience versus inexperience, and that's why you're the veteran. So not all of us have the opportunity to work for 50 years. So
oh, Jesus.
But, so, like I said, experience versus inexperience, I decided to get chance.
I'm in tears, legit. Keep going.
So, I'm trying to get unchanged, and I got my pants on, but I forgot to take my shoes off and my kick pads. So and Luigi's back under the ring, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to go out there pantsless. This is bad. Somehow I managed to get it, like, slid out, disheveled looking Negan, like he came out of like a homeless shelter.
Right,
ran under the bums there. But so I roll in, do the spot with her again. Everyone's switching in and out. It turns into like pure chaos, and then finally me and Kim go back in, but as each other.
Right.
And so I was Mystique and she was Loki. So like that was a cool spot because the crowd was like, wait a minute, hold on. At that point the crowd was lost, but they were eating every minute of it up.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And who knows what we're gonna do this weekend in Minneapolis.
So in Raleigh, a lot of people say that I kind of screwed over Spider-Man and stole the belt from him, and I know that hits a little close to home.
Right, that's my boy.
But I'm thinking maybe in Minneapolis, I feel a little charitable because Loki is a charitable guy. He is a man of the people.
So I've heard.
So maybe I give Spider-Man a shot at the belt.
That'd be nice.
Maybe, I mean, you know.
Has Loki ever thought about maybe going after that 24/7 title?
The Toxie title, I mean, that could be
Double
interesting.
champ.
He wins the belt, and then when someone comes chasing after him, he shapeshifts into somebody else.
Right.
He'll be champion forever. So I mean, why not? I mean, 2 belts. That sounds cool. 2 belts, Jude. 2 belts, Loki.
Yeah. So we have FSCW this weekend at GalaxyCon Minneapolis. All right. So the thing I like to do on the Milo Beasley Show is called the Top 5. I'm going to ask you a random question. Top 5 favorite, no particular order. I'm really gonna mess with your mind on this one. Top 5 Pop punk songs.
Has nothing to do with FSCW. You threw me off.
Yep.
Pop punk song.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I guess I could do pop punk bands because songs might be, you know.
Oh man. So here's the thing. I was very particular about my pop punk because growing up, I didn't really get into pop punk until like girls were liking pop punk, and I was like, no, I have to like pop punk. Like I liked weird bands like Him when I started out, and let's see. Okay, so top 5 punk or pop punk bands.
Pop punk bands.
I will say the first one that I really got into, and they're not really good now, is Fall Out Boy.
Okay,
Fall Out Boy was my first, like, cause like
from
Under the Cork Tree.
Under the Cork Tree was one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Oh yeah. So Fall Out Boy was probably like the one that got me into pop punk. So I'm gonna list them at number 5.
Okay.
So number 5 is Fall Out Boy because that was like my first exposure to pop punk. Number 2, that's a lie actually, but I'm gonna stick with them as number 5. Number 4 would be Green Day.
Okay.
And not American Idiot Green Day, even though it was
Like more like.
it was decent. I mean, but honestly, like that was probably my true first exposure to pop punk before I realized it was pop punk. To me, it was just punk.
Right.
Because like my sister listened to it, and I was like, this is kind of cool, but like I didn't know what it was at the time. It wasn't until Fall Out Boy that I discovered pop punk. So 5 is Fall Out Boy, 4 Green Day, 3. God, you put me on the spot here. Taking Back Sunday.
It's my favorite. Oh my God, Adam was just at Hollywood Studios this week.
Oh really?
Yeah.
They were just in Fort Lauderdale, and I missed them.
They played 2 shows at House of Blues, and the next day they went to Disney, and I was like,
man. So number 2, this is where it gets tough. Much like Fall Out Boy, I'm not a big fan of their current stuff, but Panic at the Disco.
okay.
I mean, Panic at the Disco like was catchy. Just like Fall Out Boy, their titles were weird.
Right.
But the lyrics were like nuts and all over the place. They had a cool look. They had a cool gimmick. Cause like to me, like music has to have some sort of gimmick behind it, like as well as like good, lyrics and good voice and good like sound. It also has to have like some sort of stage presence, and like their stage presence to me was like unlike any other.
Right.
So, Panic at the Disco. But my number 1 pop punk group would have to be The Used.
Okay.
The used, because like that was like my real jam. Like while all the other girls like were like, yeah, you should like Fall Out Boy, yeah, you should like this, you should like that. Like The Used was my like secret mutual like the girls liked, and then like I was like, okay, these guys are pretty badass. So like The Used, like I loved the self-titled album, and I loved everything. Like they just can't do wrong. Like. And today, like even the music they made recently is still like matches up. A lot of bands change over time. Like you have like I said, Fall Out Boys changed their sound. Panic at the Disco's changed their sound.
Even Take It Back Sunday has,
They've modified their sound. I mean, they changed singers for a little while. And like I said, Green Day changed their sound for a while. But to me, The Used has stayed true to what their sound was that entire time. So to me, they're the hard number 1.
All right. So anything else before we wrap up? Where can folks find me on the social medias?
On Instagram, I am at Jude138. On Twitter, I am at I am misled. I think there's I_am_misled. No underscores. So you can find me there. Or the easiest way to find me is follow my wife at Kid Cadet, and then follow me when she posts pictures of me, because she's a lot easier to follow.
If you don't already follow me, please do so at The Wrestling Bum, all one word. And then if you are in the Minneapolis area, please come hang out with us at FSCW this weekend at GalaxyCon. And in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we'll be back in Louisville.
Yep, You have to sound like you're like getting ready to throw up when you say "Lowell," and that's no offense to the people of Louisville, even though I'm a bad guy. But Louisville is how they prefer it to be.
So yeah, so we have another GalaxyCon there, another 3-day festival there,
and it isn't just wrestling. There's celebrities.
There's
Q&As. You're one of the moderators at GalaxyCon, so you get the opportunity to interview some of the most awesome.
I interviewed Pauly Shore
God.
in Raleigh, and it was interesting. Actually, you can probably find the video if you just.
So now we know how we have to end this.
Right.
You have to give me some wisdom.
Well, see, I did Buddy in front of him, and he got mad at me. And that was like within the first 15 minutes, and I felt super awkward after that. So
sounds like a Milo Beasley match. You do something in the beginning spot, and the guy's just like, "I'm mad at you now."
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Come hang out with us, and we'll see you next week.
We did Star Wars. I got to do Millennium Falcon twice. Someone gave me a little tip on how to get on the ride a little faster.
Oh.
Not gonna share it.
Oh, no.
Maybe I'll share it off camera.